This video is for theme modeling and simulation, unit manipulation, and this is video 7. In this video tutorial I'm going to continue to show you how to use some of the tools in Pixlr.com to create our spot the difference. I've already created 3 differences. You'll notice the clock here changes its time. The image here in the center of the castle turns upside down. And this guy's head here changes. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a few more changes using a few new tools. So I'm going to start by taking a look at this guy here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom into this man. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the colour of his shirt. Okay, that's about enough. So some of the tools that I need to use for this one include this tool here. This tool here is called the Lasso Tool, and again, when I click on the Lasso Tool, it has its own properties. And the one that I want to use is the Polygonal Lasso Tool. Now, I'm going to click on that, and what this allows me to do is it allows me to draw round an object and select that object. Let me show you. If I click here, I'm going to draw around the man's shirt. It creates this line, okay? So one click creates the line, it starts the line going. What I then need to do is put it at a point where I could draw around his shirt, so there. Then I'm going to click again, and then I've got another point at which I can move around. So then I'm going to click here, 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 and you can see what's happening. I'm basically drawing a selection around this man's shirt. So every time I see some sharp corners, I'm going to click and place a lasso point. Just going to keep going with this until I get all of his shirt. Let's be careful around here and distinguish what is his shirt and what is her hair. There we go. Okay, and then when you click on the last point, the last click that you do has to meet the point that you started. So you can see around here, when I did that last click, I actually clicked on the point at which I started using this tool. And what the Lasso Tool has done is it's selected an area. Unlike the selection tool, which could only select a rectangle or an oval shape, this can actually select any shape that you draw around. So what you can see I've done here is I'm on the change layer, and I've selected this guy's shirt using the Lasso Tool. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the adjustment option at the top here, and I'm going to play around with this Hue and Saturation. It's a very nice tool. If I click on this tool, it brings up this Hue and Saturation palette. I'm just going to move that out of the way. And what I can do now is I can change the hue, saturation and lightness. And basically, don't worry too much about what these words mean, just have a look at what they do. As I change this hue, you can see that it changes the colour of this guy's shirt. So I can change, the more I move it up, it'll turn it into a reddish colour. If I move it down, it'll turn it into a greenish colour. Further down, we're going into sort of like a yellow. Further I go to the top, back to a green. So I can play around with this and change this guy's top. So the original colour is this blue. As I move it to the left, I think that green looks pretty good, because remember, what I want to do is create subtle changes. I think if I go to a red, it might be too extreme. So blue and green are quite similar in the tone of colour. So I'm just going to turn it green, like that. Now you might also want to play around with this saturation. See, I can have a much vibrant green if I turn it up, and a much duller, sort of greyish green if I turn it down. So I'm just going to play around with it a little bit, like that. And again, then I can adjust the lightness, so I can make it really bright, or I can make it really dark. And I'm just going to leave that, I think, at around 0. If you can't get the exact numbers you want, you can click in the box, type the numbers that you want, like that. Now I'm really happy with that change, so I'm going to press OK. Now then, to deselect this selection, I press the Control, which is the CTRL button on your keyboard. Keep hold of that and press D, the letter D on your keyboard, and it will deselect And you can see there that I've now turned his blue top into a green top. I'm going to zoom out by using the zoom tool, keeping hold of the shift button so that I can zoom out and click. So now, I'll just zoom in one more. If I flick between the changed and the original, you can see the guy's shirt here is green on the changed and blue on the original. So that's another nice useful tool. I'm also going to change, I think I'll just make one more change so that I have 5. I'm just going to change this one up here. I'm going to use a tool that we've used before, which is the clone stamp tool. I'm just going to get rid of this flag. So I'm going to zoom in. It's probably not the most subtle change that I could make, but I wanted 5. I wanted 5 changes, and so this one will be my 5th. So zoom in. Now what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the clone stamp tool. I don't need it to be that big, so I'm just going to change the size to something like 50. Well, that's probably still too big, so 20, that's perfect. And then I'm going to click around about here. So I'm going to keep hold of Control to set my target, click, let go, and then move it over to the flag. And I'm just going to, whoops. You'll notice that when I use this clone stamp tool, I have to let go of the mouse button every now and then. Otherwise, I'll continue drawing. That you'll see that the target actually goes over there. Look, so I need to unclick every now and then, and go over different points like that. I'm just going to undo these last few clones and start again. So, Control, click. Let go. Oops, I didn't want to do that, you see. So I might choose a different point. So I'll use a new target here. Click. There we go. I'm really happy with that. So if I zoom out, and now we have a look at the changes. So we've got the flag is 1. We've got this man's head here is 2. We've got this man's shirt here is 3. We've got this picture in the center of the castle is 4. And then we've got the time on the clock is 5. 5 changes I've made to this picture. Now what do I need to do? Well, now what I need to do is take each of these original images and the changed images, save them, and then put them into a presentation. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do on the next video.